we are trying a full face new for me, from Judydoll. And this is actually one of my favorite C Beauty brand. A lot of their previous product that I tried become my new favorites. So actually I was really excited walking into this review. But yeah, I have some product working well. Like, it doesn't look bad right now, right? But yeah, a lot of product I didn't like. And these are all the swatches. So this review will be first I'm gonna try all of the product, and then I'm gonna do a swatch session, and there's a roundup about my overall thoughts on all of them. So yeah, it's a long video, so let's just get started right from here. First of all, we have two foundations. This is the Judydoll Traceless Cloud Touch Cream Foundation, and I have the shade B30, which I believe it's the darkest shade. And this one is the Moisturizing Cushion Foundation. I have the shade N20, which I don't know if I bought this. Let me check. Well, I definitely bought this. Okay, we'll try this foundation half and half, but for this cream one, they also sent like a bunch of sample of this. So I'm thinking before opening this, I can try this first, because this one has the same shade that I bought, B30. And I think if I liked it, I can open that, but if I didn't like that, I can maybe resell the one, like with it fully new and opened. I think the next person will be more comfortable to use it in that way. And we also have concealer palette, blush palette, and setting powders, lips, and other cheek product, and an eyeshadow, a single eyeshadow. I didn't buy any palette because I recently only was reaching for mostly small palettes and singles. I'm gonna hydrate my lips, and this one goes on so white. I can't take myself serious looking like this, but I promise it will turn clear just in a second. Let's try this cream one first. It's supposed to be a pretty full coverage foundation, I think. Review people left was like very positive. I don't think this is... I thought this gonna be slightly dark for me because this is the darkest shade, B30. But I almost think that's gonna be a little bit light for me. I guess this is just the thing with Asian makeup, even a light medium skin tone. I don't even consider myself to be like very dark skinned among East Asian people, but I'm gonna use a spatula, and this, despite being a cream foundation, it's very runny. And I'm just gonna, yeah, it's... Are you kidding me saying this is B30, the darkest shade? And now I'm worried about the cushion foundation because that one was 20, so that one supposedly is gonna be even lighter, which I don't know how that's gonna work. I mean, really, there's no way this is dark shade every time. Trying, I think it's mostly Korean and Chinese makeup. With Japanese makeup, I think they are mostly, I think 50% at least, they have my shade. I don't see much of a coverage with how much I have applied actually. I don't know how I feel about this. Let me layer it a little bit, and I put a lot on my skin. I usually don't put that much, but still it wasn't giving that much of a coverage. Maybe it's this puff. Let me change to another puff, because sometimes I find what puff you use actually matters. This is from Armani, which is my favorite cushion puff. If this doesn't work, then this foundation has no excuse actually. It's instantly better. So I feel like the the pad, the cushion pad, wasn't very good. I think it's just not cushioning enough. These type of cushion pads, even though it's very thin, but it still should have some like cushion in it to help you blend the foundation. Why I'm losing coverage here? This is the second layer. This is probably 3 times of the how much foundation I'm gonna use normally. And let's layer it again. I feel like as I'm blending, the foundation is just disappearing. Like, what's going on? It's a whole lot of foundation and now it's almost all gone. The amount of foundation in this is like, you're gonna feel like it's too much if you are even applying skincare, you know. It's how, it didn't say on the package how much that was, but I think it's about a ml. So now I'm using almost all of it only on half of my skin and I feel like I'm getting nothing. It's not even supposed to be a, how to say, like skin tint and stuff. It's a cream foundation. It should be have more coverage than like normal foundations, or at least the same. And even with skin tints, I normally don't have the problem with the coverage went away. The problem I normally have is the product stuck into my pores and create those like little white dots. But I don't think I have that problem. My problem is like the foundation disappearing out of nowhere. I need to check in front of a big window. Wait a minute. I think the finish is actually beautiful. It's sitting very beautiful on my skin, but again, that's like 1 full ml of foundation on only half of my face. It's like 3 layers. So I don't know how I feel about that. And now let's try the cushion, which I don't have high hope at this point. But the cushion looks very pretty, this packaging. I hope this one is like the cartridge is interchangeable with other cushion foundations, because I really kind of want to keep this packaging even if I don't like the product inside. Okay, again I'm gonna wet this sponge. That doesn't look good. It looks too light. That's a lot. Oh, this is instantly way more coverage than the cream foundation, and this is, yeah, too light. I think this is a very great olive. Oh my god, this is so much foundation just with that one pad, and I even evened it out on the little lid, and this is too much. Why? I don't understand. Like, normally you'd think a cushion foundation will be more sheer coverage, and I feel like there's too much product there and there's nowhere to go. That one little press probably could go my whole face, and now I'm like patting it on a tissue paper to help absorb the excess. Can you see all of these marks? I feel like normally if I push a foundation into place and I blend again, I won't create these marks, you know? I feel like this foundation is just not sinking into the skin. It's like sitting on top. So that's why it's like, it still leaves these marks. You see that? It's so weird, this foundation. I think I might not be the right skin type to try this, because I feel like if you have dry skin, the skincare part, because this is supposedly to be a skincare cushion. The skincare part can sink in, so maybe the formula can feel more like thicker, so it doesn't move around as much. But right now I really feel like I don't even know what to do, like with all of this foundation floating on my skin. Like if I touch it, it just comes off. Like I don't even know if you can see, and this color is definitely not my color. I look like a ghost. I thought this side is already light and this side is even lighter. And I feel like on the website the color was presented to be like a little bit darker, but after blending it a little bit with my finger, I think it has settled in a little bit more, but it still feels like the feeling of you just applied skincare serum and the skincare has not been rubbed in yet. It feels like that. I don't know how I feel about this. I like neither of them, and I kind of want to take this off because I don't think I'm gonna give them a fair chance, like the rest of the product a fair chance after this. For now, I'm gonna leave them on and to see if the other product act weird. If they do, I think I'm gonna start over then. I was so excited to try Judydoll's foundation, but yeah, it's not working, at least for me. Even though the reviews were like very, very positive. Okay, let's try this concealer palette, which now trying the two foundations, I don't know if I'm gonna really love this. It's the Traceless Cloud Touch Concealer Palette. Also, it's like the same line as this one. But what about, oh yeah, this cushion this cushion foundation is a different line. I have the shade 02. It's supposed to be more of a natural color, so it's like not as pale. I think this palette is finally giving us some color. I was going to reach for a brush, but let's just use my finger. And I'm thinking, where do I put the concealer, because I already am overloaded on the foundation. I'm trying to rub off some from my eyelids because there's too much. This area, because I always get some darkness there. I think I can try this little peachy shade. It's very creamy on my hand, but on the face it's like instantly lighter than it shows in the pen. I don't know how I feel about this. Let's try around my nose, blending this two little peachy shade. Oh, that's too much. That's too much. No. It's acting pretty weird, and it's like, if anything, I think it's taking off the coverage. Let's try on this side. This side, I guess it's layering a little bit better. At this point, I don't know how I feel. I just can't get away from how pale I look right now. Okay, on this side it's not taking off that much of the coverage, but I don't think it's working that well either. Let's try to set this. If it sets weird, I'm pretty sure it's the foundation that's weird, and we're gonna take it all off. And this is the translucent and blurring setting powder, and the shade 00. It's supposedly like a very, very translucent shade. And with powder, I'm actually pretty confident about it, because I feel like Judydoll really have great powder formulas. I actually really like their packaging. It's like very sleek. There's a lid inside as well. Oh, that's not a lid. This is a pen. I thought this was a lid because the powder was so smooth. And they even have a little... I'm so confused. Why is this the same material as a cushion pad. I thought it's gonna be like a little fuzzy, like the powder puff, but this is the same material as a like cushion pad, like what I use to apply foundation. That's weird. Give me a powder puff. I feel like nothing is going as planned. On the puff, it's looking a little bit pale, but let's see on our skin. That's white. I don't think it's all that translucent, to be honest. I'm looking like a ghost. And I really, even though the beauty standard here in East Asia is always to look pale, but I really don't like to look pale. I don't like to look very tan either. I just want to maintain my own skin color. I have a feeling that I have to take this off because there's no way the other product is gonna look good on this, right? After checking in front of a big window, I think this powder is looking very nice. It's like very, very smoothing, other than the fact that it's like so white. Yeah, it's like looking actually pretty nice, including the foundation. But it's just, I think it's the powder saved it, and the foundation feels so heavy, both sides on my skin. I just feel like the formula isn't for me at all. So yeah, I'm gonna take this off. Okay, we're back. Finally looking like a human. When I entered my bathroom and turned on a light, I almost jump scared myself. I look like I have a clay mask on that's dried, like a dried clay mask on. And when I was wiping it off, the lines of there isn't foundation and where it is so clear. It's like almost scary. The formula, I think it's fine. It's not a bad formula. It's just not for my skin. I am pretty oily right now with this weather, and neither of these are my type of formula. I think maybe we can try the concealer again to see will it work on itself. And I think that's a possibility that it can work. And also I think the shades are just much better. It's interesting how the concealer looks so much darker than the foundation, the darkest shade of the foundation. Thinking, do I mix or do I use this one on its own, because this one is like pretty olive, but I think I'm probably not this level of olive, so let's mix. I normally start from this part because I have the most discoloration on that part. I think this works so much better than the tube foundation. Yeah, it's sitting so much nicer. Even though I still think it might be a touch lighter, when it blends out, it's like a much lighter shade, but I don't think it's like half bad. And the formula is much thicker and it's like gripping onto my skin, so I think it's good. And I think on the camera the shade doesn't look that bad either. Mixing the two is like pretty nice on my skin at least. And there is even a little powder. That's nice. And it's like pretty pigmented, I think. Later I'm gonna swatch this whole palette, but for now we're just gonna apply this on our face. Let's just take a tiny little bit of this and apply around my nose. I think the concealer lifting up earlier is definitely the fault of the foundation. Yeah, it's actually applying just beautifully with my finger. This is a harder formula. It's not like those very balmy, like it is balmy, but it's like very thick and very almost solid like. So I think this is very good for covering up pimples and like anywhere you want like a good coverage. I actually really like this. Let's layer just a tiny bit with our finger. Almost feel like fingers are working better. This concealer palette is doing all the work and better than the two foundation. And now I'm hesitant to try all the other C Beauty foundations. Major concern is the shade. And now I'm also concerned about the formula because I feel like they are mostly created with only dry skin in mind. This beautiful blush palette. It's the Judydoll Blush and Highlight palette in the shade 01. So supposedly there's like a layout explanation. I'm trying to figure out which shade is which. Oh, okay. It's not like the way you look at this is the way you look at this. It's like the shade here, it's also the shade here. The powder blush, and that is supposed to be the main color because the concept of this is layering multiple colors so you have like a more dimensional look. And this is a cream blush, it's also the main color. And this is the highlight powder for brightening, and this is the powder blush for expensive color. So it's like for plumping and like bringing things forward. Look at this, it's actually beautiful. Because I have my way of applying blush, so I think I'm gonna follow my way first. We're just gonna ignore their instruction. And I'm gonna apply this cream blush first. I'm just gonna apply it everywhere. Oh, it's showing way lighter than I thought. And why I feel like it's kind of moving my concealer around. It's actually a cute color though. It's blending pretty well. But I'm just thinking, is it moving around the concealer underneath? Which I almost have a feeling that it was. After checking in front of my window, I almost feel like the concealer is setting a little bit, like setting into like a powdery finish almost, which is weird. It wasn't mentioning it was like self-setting concealer or something. Set that aside, we're gonna set our face. I'm gonna use a brush this time because apparently applying with a puff it's like too much. I don't want to end up that pale. I think I should have bought a loose powder. I don't know why I ended up with this powder. Applying with a brush, I think it's not as pale as it was before, even though it's still a little bit lighter. So I think this is probably only T-zone or under eye area type of usage. I feel like I desperately need some brow on my face. And we have this one, which I got from Judydoll last time, that I haven't even peeled this one off, even though I already used it. I feel like I just can't do things today. I think my period is about to come, so maybe that's why I'm so clumsy and easy to piss off today. Why I feel like even this eyebrow powder is not working for me today. Why am my eyebrow looking so thick? I mean, it normally doesn't look like that. I feel like nothing is working. Maybe we can finish our eye makeup before we go back to the blush. I got a new shade of their single eyeshadow because I really like the two I got before. And this time I got the shade G44. It's this type of like a taupey shade. And it's again those like glittery formula. Oh, that's beautiful. That's really beautiful. The one I got before, I think is G01. It's a dupe for the Space Cowboy. I think this is just a touch deeper than that. I'm thinking, do we use a color as a base? We also have 3 little single blush here. Maybe we can use one of them. I remember I have one that's like a nudie color. I'm sweating so hard right now because all the things that's happening here. Oh, this one, the shade 35, seems to be a good shade using on the eyelids. This one's pretty too though, but let's use the nudie one. These little single blushes I have never tried, but I heard that they are very good. I think I got it in a like great deal. This is like probably $8 for 3 of them. So I got 3 because getting one wasn't that much cheaper. I want to use a fluffier brush. This brush I got from SUQQU because this month is my birthday month. But I don't know if I really like this brush. This is just their birthday gift little eyeshadow brush that wasn't for sale. I think the brushes they have for sale is much better than this one. And this blush is actually working so well right now. And I feel like as the time goes on, this concealer palette is looking like heavier and heavier on my skin. It applies the most beautiful like the first time it was on, and I feel like it's just going downhill from there. I think I need to try it another day just to gather my full thought. Maybe because I removed my foundation once, because I noticed this when I already removed the foundation for once in that day, the second time usually the foundation doesn't apply really well. And also, I have a feeling, I feel like in general, Japanese foundation formulas just always works for me better than foundations from other countries. I can't pinpoint why that is, but every time I try a foundation I think it's my new favorite, it's like for sure a Japanese foundation. I think the only exception is Dior foundations. Dior foundations is like pretty similar to a lot of the Japanese foundations. Like it's very smoothing and creamy. Right now, even I'm a Chinese. I'm born and raised in China. I don't think I am right now, only trying from Judydoll. I don't think I'm gonna be a fan of C Beauty foundations. I think I might stay away from it for a bit and trying to recover, because today is like not a pleasant experience at all. Now let's apply this single eyeshadow. I'm very excited for this shade. Oh, that's beautiful. Did you see that? Or is my mirror in the way? It's really a moon dust shadow type of formula. I really recommend their single eyeshadow in this formula. Like the shade number starts with G, which I think is just glitter, right? And I really like this. It looks actually much lighter than it's in the pan, maybe because the base I put down actually. But yeah, I like this. And I think there's less fallout than the one I purchased before. That one, G01, pure glitter, so there's more fallout, but it's not that much, And you can see how much I've used it. It looks like there's a little dent. I have been using this non-stop for like maybe 2 months. And this is the new one that I got. Why does it look a little bit different? And it's like a denser formula. Actually, just by touching it, it's a similar formula even than this one to the Moon Dust Shadow. Because if you have touched the Moon Dust Shadow, it's very dense, so there isn't much fallout actually. and you have to work your finger in to get enough product on your finger. But this one is like very easy to take product. I basically just tap my finger a couple times and it's like enough sparkles on my finger. It's like that. I think I will use this more. Let me put it in my daily makeup drawer. Okay, talking so much. Also have this eyeliner that I bought last time I was shopping at them, and this one is actually very good. It's just not very great at filling like in a larger area. It's better at the detail work because it's so thin. Mascara, again, this is what I bought from them last time, and I believe the last time I'm doing a review I said I didn't really like this, but I think it's probably because of the formula is like on the looser liquidy side. So I basically, because I said I didn't really like it, and I just put it away and didn't use it for like maybe 1 or 2 months. And the other day I ran out of my Can Make one and I don't want to open another one, and I'm looking at this like thinking this is already open, let me just like finish it. Suddenly it's like my new favorite. So I think this is probably one of those formula that you have to let it sit for amount of time to let the product get like thicker. And yeah, now I really like it. It's still very, very natural. Like it's not an intense mascara by any means, but I kind of like how it makes my eyelash look. Not clumpy, it's separating, it's lengthening. I don't think it's like that much volume, to be honest. There's no fiber here, so you're not getting volume. For me, I don't really care about volume as long as you're not clumping my eyelash together and make it looks like there's only 5 hairs there. I see that they have another version of this mascara. Like it's like a even thinner wand of this type of like screw type of mascara wand. So maybe next time I can try that even skinnier wand. Let's go back to the blush. I think what I want to do is use a shade here to try the formula, like the powder formula, and we can use one of these like matching shade to the two on the other cheek to compare the formula. I think I want to put this shade on a larger area. I mean, it's all layering on the cream powder, so the cream blush, so need to conceal that as well. Very natural and kind of blurring actually. This feels like a setting powder with color. I really like Judydoll's powder formula. Just don't, after today, I just don't know how I feel about their cream formula, especially the foundation. And now I'm layering this darker shade at the center, maybe. This is showing so much pinkier, right? This is low-key terracotta here, and on my cheek it looks like pink, like a warm coral type of pink. It's pretty, but it's just probably not what I would expect from a shade like that. I think it's like pretty sheer. With the 3 little blush here, which one should I use? I think these two are kind of mimicking the 2 shades I was just using. Maybe let's try these 2. If this one is pigmented enough, I won't try that deeper one, but let's just see. Oh, immediately this is way more pigmented than that palette, so I don't think I need another shade. It's a little bit patchy here, but I'm thinking, is that the concealer? It can be the concealer actually, because at this point I don't think I'm that confident with their base product. And let's just layer a tiny little bit, tapping off the excess and tapping off on the back of my hand. Yeah, I think this single is way more pigmented than the palette. But I like the palette as well. Face are done. Actually, it doesn't look bad right now. It's just, I feel like there's some patchiness happening here that I have to figure out by using the concealer again. But now, there's one last thing that I was very excited to try. Is there, I think it's the film forming type of lip formula that it forms like a film. So when you drink and eat, only that top layer, a clear top layer will come off and the color underneath stays, and it's like a very glossy, but it stays glossy. And can you tell that it kind of looks like there's like water droplets inside of the tube? It's like a two layer. I don't know if that's intentional or what. It looks intentional. It's the Watery lip gloss in the shade 09. It's this metal wand, so it's like hygienic, I think. If you don't know, every Lunar New Year there'll be a big event in China. Basically, it's called 联欢晚会, so I don't know how to translate that in English, but it's like a bunch of celebrities and performers to perform for like 4 hours straight from the night before the actual Lunar New Year day, and they'll perform from 8 to 12. And it's like a very big event. It like has almost 1 billion people watching it every year. And one of the, I think is she an actor that performed at that event for 2024 was wearing this lipstick. So I was interested from that day. So it's been months actually. I heard that with this type of film forming lipstick, you shouldn't rub your lips, but I forgot for a little bit there. Okay, it's a little bit messy, but I'm gonna correct that later. But now I think I want to let this sit for a couple minutes and maybe test will it be like forming a film or something. It's 3 minutes later. That should be enough time, right? With my experience, okay, I haven't used this type of formula for years, but with my experience, I think this type of formula, once they look like they are super glossy, they're set, because the film is supposedly to be a very like even layer. If they formed that layer, it's gonna look super glossy, so that's the sign that it's done. So I'm gonna try right now. Kind of nervous, even though I don't know why. I'm gonna just try on the back of my hand. I mean, there's still some going off, but I think you can tell like this area, you can see the gloss there, but there's not much color. It's almost all the inside of my bottom lip. I do think there are like really is that type of film forming formula, because look at the bottom lip on my hand. And again, like it comes off in this like little chunks. That usually means it's like forming a film. And I feel like on my lips you can see the color is still intact, but the shine has gone away. Now I know that it's like actually the formula I think it is. I think I want to line my lips because they're looking a little bit uneven, and touch it up a little bit. It looks very shiny and it feels moisturizing. I probably should put the lip liner down first, but I just want to show the color on its own. I really like this color. I really like this metal wand as well. Let's now do a swatch session. First of all, let's swatch the concealer compact. And this one is just the eyeshadow. I won't wipe it off. Olive shade. Like it looks so much lighter on the skin, and this is the lighter peachy color. it actually looked like much more golden on my skin. This is the split pen, and this split pen feels way different than the other ones. This one is much looser and more creamy. This one looks like almost white, this last concealer. And this is the powder. I think this is overall still pretty pale. I don't even think if you are a light medium skin tone, this is gonna be like same as your skin tone. I think this is still like for light skin people, even though it looks darker. Blush palette, and I will go this order first. The cream feels like silicone. So have you used the Can Make cream blush? The very famous little round one. It's the same type of formula as that one. I actually don't really like when the cream blush is a silicone formula. And this is the lighter peach color. And lastly, we have a brightening color. I think this can also be good mixing with the other powder blush. The single blush, this is the shade 06. A nice nudie shade, like a rosy nudie shade. This is the one we layered on top of this cheek, I think. And this is the shade 41. It's a nudie peachy shade that's lighter. And the last one, I think, is the one that we put on our eyelid. It's a nudie shade. Yeah, it's like looking way more nude than the other shade. It almost looks gray, but it's probably because this part of my arm is the darkest shade on my body, so it looks like a little bit gray. This shade looks a little bit like my Dior blush. I'm gonna try to figure out will any of this to be a dupe. Oh, actually, this is similar to the first shade we swatched, the shade 06. These two are similar, right? It's like very similar. And this Dior is 459, the shade Chanel. Let's do a roundup of all of the products that we talked about today. The Traceless Cloud Touch Cream Foundation in the shade B30. The darker shade still way lighter than my light medium skin, so no. And the coverage disappears. I have to layer so much, so much. I think the amount I put on my skin is a half of my skin. It's like 3 pumps of a normal foundation. As I'm blending, it's just coming off in a way, and it's like disappearing. I don't really like this. And the Moisturizing Cushion Foundation in the shade N20. This is just never settles on my skin. It like moves around a lot. It never stays in place, which I don't like this type of foundation. I just feel like it's probably too moisturizing for my oily skin, especially in this weather. The shade that they're showing on the website, I think it's darker than it is in real life. This is such a pale color. I think you have seen it. It's very pale, and the formula isn't right, the shade isn't right. The concealer palette, I don't think this is perfect, and the shade look way lighter on the skin. Like these four, way lighter than it looks on the pan. Like first I see it in the pan, I thought it might be too dark, but it's actually a little bit too light. And you see my face, it's still a little bit lighter. But the formula, I don't think isn't the formula isn't bad. I need to use this more to put together my final thoughts. The blush palette, I think it's good. I don't think this is gonna become my favorite blush palette or something. I just don't like a silicone type of formula when it comes to cream blush. I feel like a silicone formula only works great on bare skin for me. On a foundation, it's always patchy or it's messing with the formula underneath. I don't know how to explain it, but I don't like silicone based cream blush. So this one, the color is great actually, and I might use it if I'm barefaced, just want some color, but I don't think I'm gonna try to use this over actual like base makeup. And these two blush are actually pretty, and I didn't try this brightening powder, but from the swatch, it's the same formula. I would try this more. If I do the base makeup differently, I might like it more. Powder is still weird that why they decide to give a pad, not a puff. Powder is pretty brightening, so under the eyes I think it could be good, and I need to try this more. Today I think the base makeup is just not cooperating, so I can't say that much, but I don't see this becoming my new favorite. Eyeshadow, one of my favorite from today. Like, look at this, how beautiful is that? I actually wanted more shades, but the only shade that's available that I am interested is just this shade. And yeah, I really like it. How pretty is that? Along with this single blush, I really like this formula. It's very easy to blend, like it blends so nicely on my cheeks and on my eyes, and it's like it's just a great matte powder blush, and it's pigmented. It's actually pigmented, so I really like that as well. And I also really like this lip tint, the film forming formula. I think it's working. Oh, now I leave it for longer, it's definitely like working better. Like it's only a minimal amount of color that came off. It's mostly the film, and it's still shiny, right? I really like this. So yeah, that's my full face of trying on new Judydoll products. Well, new for me. And half of it I didn't really like. So I think I'm gonna stick to their mostly powder formula or like just lip products from now on. I don't think their base formula is for me. If any of you have tried a C Beauty foundation that you loved, please tell me. I really want to try. I love to try foundation. But yeah, these are not for me. Thank you for hanging on for so long. This is such a long video. If you have any brand or any product that you want to see someone trying on the camera, tell me in the comment section. And thank you so much for watching. Bye.